Hello everyone, I just thought I'd do a quick video. This occurred to me when a friend of mine purchased a new 2024 Road Glide, which is of course the new fairing design and the new styling. And he was new to Harleys and was unaware of some adjustments that perhaps needed to be made to have the bike fit in better. And then maybe also just to check some things on the bike to make sure that they were fit properly. Because although Harley dealerships are supposed to fit the bike to you, sometimes it's not done at the dealership. So there are a couple things I thought I'd point out, especially to the new owner, that you might want to check into to make the bike not only fit comfortably, but also just to check the bike to make sure that it's set up in good condition for you. So one of the first things to check is, of course, the fit of the handlebars to where you're riding. And a good way to check this is just to sit on the bike and hold your arms up in a comfortable position, just right out in front of you, and see where your arms sit. If you're sitting and relaxed comfortably on the bike and just hold your arms up, if they rest comfortably on the grips, perfect. The handlebars are in a good position for you. But if you find yourself sitting comfortably and your arms are maybe out a little bit or up, or conversely down or forward, you can adjust the handlebars, certainly not by height, but you can adjust it, rock them forward and back. And the way you're going to do that is to just loosen up these screws here just very slightly, and then the bar itself can tilt forward and backward. The bar can't tilt very much. There is a pin inside that prevents the movement of the bar from going too far forward, and of course that's a safety feature, and also from too far back, but you can adjust it to some degree. So that's one thing you should do, is loosen that up. If you find that you're holding the bars too far back, you can certainly rock the bars back or rock them forward. Another thing that you might want to think about adjusting is, of course, the angle of the clutch and of the brake lever. You can adjust the angle and roll this either forward or backward. In my friend's case, he found that he was holding his arm something like this at a canted angle in order to comfortably reach the clutch lever. And so what we did is we just loosened up these two screws here and then rolled this whole unit backwards so that his wrist was more at a comfortable angle to be able to grab the clutch and the brake lever. These are the two screws you'd want to adjust. One other thing that you might want to think of doing is adjusting the reach of the brake lever. The clutch lever on these new Harleys is not adjustable in terms of reach. There's simply no adjustment at the handlebar. But for the brakes, you can adjust it by turning this wheel here. The way you would adjust it is just push the brake lever out, and then you can spin this out or in. So there's a number here you can see, and if you put it on number 6, it moves the brake all the way out, so for those bigger hands. If you set it to 1, it brings it all the way into the closest number. And of course there are different settings in between, 2, 3, and so on. I have small hands, so I adjust mine to number 1, which gives me a comfortable brake lever reach. Another thing that you should probably check, and although this is normally done at the dealer, their pre-inspection setup, is this is pretty important right here. On the CVOs especially, there, because we have the inverted fork, there is a guard right in front which protects debris from hitting the tube of the shock. And that's important because you don't want debris going up there and messing up with the fork seal here. Sometimes this angle of the guard, which is held in by these two screws, is not set properly, and this guard actually can tilt too far in. There has been a report of this guard being tilted too far in, and as the fork moves up and down, it actually damaged the seal. And so make sure that this guard is angled out properly, the top is angled out properly, so that as it moves up and down, it's not hitting the fork guard. I am going to adjust this one. It does clear, but I am going to loosen up these 2 screws and angle it slightly outward, just to be a little bit more sure. Because as you're going at speed, the wind will obviously push this in slightly, and that might be just enough to cause that to move inwards. Couple other things you want to adjust is, of course, the angle of the shift lever. Oftentimes, especially with new motorcycle riders, and especially new Harley riders, the angle of this shift lever may not be where you want it to be. It may be angled too far low or too far high. So you want to adjust it so your toe of your shoe or boot fits comfortably under there and gives you a little bit of room so you can easily adjust it. Obviously, you don't want it too high where it's hard to reach to push it down, or too low where you can't get your foot under it to push it up. And that's easily adjusted through this mechanism here. You just unscrew this bolt here, move this whole system out, and then you can set it at the angle you want. Another way that you can also adjust it is by getting an adjustable shift rod here, and this can lengthen or shorten to also adjust this angle. But that's something to check as well. An important thing to do is also to adjust your shocks. My friend was completely unaware of this, but as you can see here, just on the left side, on the right side, you can adjust the shock preload, and you should adjust it according to your weight. Check your manual, but there is a lock ring here and the adjusting ring just below it. So there are 2 rings here. You want to loosen this lock ring here and adjust the preload by turning the ring under it to a certain number of millimeters separation between those 2 rings. I'm a pretty light person, so my manual said pretty much a 0 millimeter difference between the spacing. But my friend's was also set at 0. And he is quite a bit heavier than me and taller than me. And his preset was at 0, so we had to take his right saddlebag off and adjust that so that the preload was at the proper setting. He was bottoming out his bike, which I could tell because there was a slight oil film on the bottom of his shock, which showed that he was bottoming out his bike, and he did feel it was a little rough. So we changed that for him. That's an important set. And of course, if you have a CVO, you can also adjust the rebound on the shocks. You can't do that on a non-CVO model. Another thing would be good to check is your oil level. Although this should be, of course, done by the dealer, it's always important to check the oil level, because there are, anecdotal one-off reports of people getting a bike from the dealer that the oil was either way too high or way too low. So do check your oil. Other than that, I think those are the main things you should check into when purchasing and riding your new Harley Road Glide, CVO, or Street Glide, or any 2024 model. Thanks so much.